Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Book Writers Club. It's me, Christina Carpenter, and today I wanted to open up my notebook with you. And kind of like a creative journal entry, I wanted to share what I've been working on this month. So, for the month and beyond, I've been revisiting one of those classic life changing books, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Now, if you've heard of it, you know it's not just a book. It's a 12-week journey, a whole process that helps you reconnect with your creativity, your spiritual flow, and the artist within you. And I'll admit, I got a little behind. I paused for a little while. Life got in the way, but I'm back. And this time, I'm doing a bit of double jump through the chapters, catching up and diving deeper at the same time. So let's start with Julia's foundation, what she talks about and what she calls basic principles. And these are so powerful. She says things like creativity is the natural order of life, or life is energy, pure creative energy. And when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us. That just gives me chills every time I read it. It's such a reminder that being creative isn't just about painting or writing or performing. It's about connection. It's about opening ourselves to that divine spark, that energy that flows through everything. Julia believes that our creativity is God's gift to us. And when we use it, that's our gift back to God. It's so simple, but so profound. She calls this idea spiritual electricity, that there's this sacred current running through our creative lives. And when we tune into it, we don't just make art. We heal, we grow, we remember who we are. Now, Julia gives us two main tools, two daily practices that she calls non-negotiable. The first one is morning pages. If you've done them before, you know it's just 3 pages, handwritten or whatever's on your mind. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to make sense. It's not a journal. It's not poetry. It's just you emptying your thoughts onto paper. And she says it feeds your inner artist. That no matter how tired, grumpy, or distracted you feel, those 3 pages matter. Because even when you think you're writing junk, something deeper is happening. You're clearing out the noise so creativity can find its way back in. The second tool is what she calls the artist date. And I love this one. It's all about spending intentional, playful, solo time with your creativity. It's a date with yourself. Now, she says people come up with 1,000 excuses like, I'm too busy, I'm too broke, I don't have time. But your inner artist doesn't need money, it needs attention. And so go take yourself out somewhere, wander through a thrift store, visit an art gallery, watch an old movie alone, take a slow walk on the beach. Your inner child doesn't want expensive gifts, it just wants you. And Julia makes a great point. She compares it to a child of divorce who only gets to see a parent on weekends. That time together is precious. So your artist needs that same kind of sacred, undivided attention. So let's talk about week 1 in the Artist's Way. It's called Recovering a Sense of Safety. And wow, this one hits home. She introduces the idea of the shadow artist, people who are drawn to creativity but too afraid to fully step into it. She says sometimes our families or communities don't support our artist side. Maybe they just told us art doesn't pay the bills or that creativity is a luxury. So instead of chasing our dreams, we find safe jobs that circle around creativity, like a writer who becomes an editor or a painter who becomes a gallery manager. We're close to the art, but not in it. That's the shadow artist life, admiring others while hiding our own creative spark. And Julia says something that really stuck with me. Very often, audacity, not talent, makes the artist. It's not about being the best, it's about being brave enough to begin. She reminds us to protect our inner artist child, to go gently. Judging your early creative work too harshly is what she calls artist abuse. That's deep. It's like criticizing a toddler for learning to walk. We've spent years beating ourselves up, measuring our small beginnings against someone else's masterpiece. But the artist way says, don't do that. Don't rush. Don't compare. We're after healing, not performance. Progress, not perfection. So that's where I'm at this week. Rediscovering my creativity, giving myself permission to write without judgment, and setting aside time to nurture that inner artist. If you're walking this journey too, remember, you don't need to earn your right to be creative. You already are. You just have to come home to it. All right, my friends. That's it for today's episode of the Book Writers Club. If you're following along with the Artist Way, I'd love to hear how it's going for you. You can message me or join me next week as we talk about recovering a sense of identity. That's week 2. Until then, write for healing and create for your soul. And remember, your creativity is sacred. And another thing, if you would like to join a webinar, I have a webinar specifically on this topic. So sign up. I look to see you there.